Welcome to Bevins Bricks, and today, yes, it's finally time to do another city update. I just want to give you a quick view of where I last left off before we start on today's video, because there is a lot of things I'm changing and a lot of great things yet to come. The first thing I did is I took the entire display and moved it to the center of the table, and I'm doing this because I want to focus more on adding landscaping and changes of scenery, changes of elevation, and things like that. I'm also going to be changing up my roads. And let me quickly explain why, because I know everybody loves my brick-built roads. I designed this several years ago when they first came out with these road plates, and everybody thought they were absolutely hideous. And now I'm finally going to be using them in my city display. The biggest reason is quite simply this. My existing roads, as you can see, all my cars are hardwired. Is the only way I could get the cars on my streets illuminated. But with this new change, I can use this new road plate piece, and there's a little pocket on the bottom so I can put in the little socket port on the back of the plate, or the underside of the plate anyway, and then on the top I can use the modular building connector. Here real quickly, what I'm going to do is take this car and I'm going to add some lights to it. I also have some other cars with lights in them as well, to show you how awesome it'll be to switch over to this new system. Once everything's wired into all of my cars, all I have to simply do is pick up a car if I'm bored with it being in that location. I can take another car and just set it right on top of it, and wow, I have lights and everything. And there was no wiring, no soldering, or anything to do. You do have to make sure that it's perfectly aligned though, otherwise like this, the lights will blink on or off. So it can be a bit of a pain. But anyway, let's get back to the city. I'm not going to be working on the roads today. I just wanted to show you my plan. What I started with today is I took a bunch of 48 by 48 base plates and started spreading them around the table, because I'm just going to, again, be doing a lot of filler and a lot of landscaping and things of that nature. And what I'm using the 32 by 32 plates for is to give me an idea of where I'm going to be placing buildings, and also where my streets are going to be going. After I was happy with the street and building placement, I got to work on the train track layout, and that is my main focus. I'm basically going to build my city and display around my train track display. And what you're seeing me do here is the original location that I had the city at wasn't wide enough for me to do a turnaround at the far end of the table. So I had to shimmy it over just a little bit more to give me some more space for the turnaround down at the back end. Something else I do want to point out to everybody is that all my train track is vintage 9-volt track. I like to point that out because a lot of people tell me I need to switch over and buy Trix bricks and other brands of track, but me personally, I'm trying to stay with the original Lego track because I have such a huge quantity of it and it is very expensive, and I just personally like the option of being able to control it with a power supply instead of having to have batteries constantly in the train. Even though I do agree that the Trix bricks turns and curves for train tracks do look much better, but again, I am staying with my vintage track. Now that I'm pretty happy with the layout itself and let the trains run around to make sure everything was working well, I wanted to get started with this back corner because again, like I just said, I'm not a big fan of those curves either. And when I have a tight curve like I have back here, I want to make sure I can hide it. So what I'm going to be doing here is I am simply just plating everything over on the back side because I'm going to make this a cave. So basically the train will come back, it'll disappear into the cave, and it'll come back out. Even though we all know it's still there, like I said, it will be visually gone. So to me, it will look a little better, and it'll add a little detail to the build. Now with the cave, what I'm starting off with is I'm just doing a basic entrance. It's going to be a sloped entrance with an archway over the top of it. The archway is just a simple 1x12 arch, and now I'm using brick to cover in the front surface. All I'm using is 2x4s, and I'm also using some 4x4 plates to kind of fill it in, because I wanted to start off with like a gradual setback to come to the entrance, and then as I got to the back, I wanted to start building it taller. I will come back also and be adding in 1x4 and 1x2 plates to kind of help with that degradation, because I don't want it to look too blunt, but this is probably the easiest way to do a mountain. I know it's not the most decorative way in the world, but when you see the end results, trust me, it doesn't look all that bad. One thing I can tell you is I wasn't real happy with how quickly it went up towards the back there. So what I end up doing here in just a second is I rip it all back down, and then I use a burp. Everybody calls them burps. It's the big ugly rock piece. And I like to use them a lot. I know a lot of people do not like them, but if you take them and then you add various slope pieces to the front surface of them, you can actually make them still look quite attractive. It just takes a bit of playing around. What I typically use is I use the 1x2 slopes, 1x3 slopes, and the 1x2x3 high slopes. And then I also like to come back over that and use the cheese wedge pieces on a lot of the peaks. And to me, it gives it a really nice decorative look when it's all put together. What really gives the finished look to any incline or mountain surface, though, is landscaping. Add a variety of different colors, different plants, different trees, different bushes, and just the combination altogether looks really good. Mind you, this is just a very small portion of what I'm going to be doing, because this is going to be coming all the way over and across to the other side, so that way you can't see any of this curve at all. And then I'm probably even going to put a water feature out in front as well. But I thought, you know what, since this is towards the end of the video, I would take some quick recordings, let you guys see what all I've accomplished in today's video. I have the trains now officially running around through the city. Really happy about that. And I have a good game plan now for where the city is going to be going.